that shit would probably feel so nice. When you're listening, your skin's glistening. It's like, yo, all these dope streamers gonna fucking get it in. Like, yo.
I'm going up to the pier right now, so you guys can see the ocean. It's gonna be amazing.
Well, I'm ever upper class, high society, God's gift to ballroom notoriety. And I always fill my ballrooms, the event is never small. The social pages say I've got the biggest balls of all. I've got big balls, I've got big balls. They're such big balls, and they're dirty big balls. And he's got big balls, and she's got big balls. But we got the biggest.
It matches my ears. Matches my ears. See? It's called outfit coordination.
Yay. It's Supernaturalwriter. Yay.
Hi.
Thanks for being
I
here.
can't see it on my end. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be here. I've never gotten to be on stream with you before, even though we've talked about it for like literally 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost.
That's crazy. I know.
I've never done it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, I mentioned this with USA Whole. I got to talk to them last night, and it's just like I've spent so much time in their stream, and same with yours, like in back and forth with talking, just as a chatter.
Yeah.
That like it doesn't feel weird to talk to you now. It just like feels normal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at a certain point, you're just like, I've spent 9 hours sitting here with you.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. It's just a
I've
conversation
seen-
at this point.
Yeah, I've seen everything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny how one thing that I like about your content, I've said that maybe so many times now that I'm starting to be like, what am I saying? Overanalyzing it. But what I like about your stream and like the way you do things is that you are dedicated and you focus on co-working and your workout streams, which are, discipline. You have discipline that I don't possess, and that I envy. But I guess like the cool thing about that is even though you have that structure, you also like go off the rails a lot in the way that I appreciate, and happens here quite often, regularly.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I don't know. I think I just thought of the idea of co-work streaming. I wasn't even really co-work streaming. I don't know what I was doing. I didn't have the bot or anything. I was just doing timers and stuff, playing music. I was treating it kind of like a DJ thing. And then maybe I searched co-working. I searched the co-working tag,
Yeah.
and like you were the one, like one of the only ones really doing something in there at the time. I was like, okay, clicked. And then that was when you had like what? Like you just got an affiliate, maybe? You had like 100 followers or something?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't even remember. I mean, I remember the day that you popped into chat, but I don't remember how close or when I got affiliate. I think I got affiliate somewhere around April or March. I would say, sorry, that was my sister who comes in sometimes
okay.
to be bothersome.
I've seen
and
them before. Yeah, I've
you-
seen them on your
A
stream.
little child, all of them are little children. Even if they're in high school, they're all little children.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of cool that you still
But-
live like with your family, though. I feel like, like.
Yeah, I
do you like
mean-
it? And
Yeah,
not like
I
it at the
think-
same time?
Well, so most of my household, like my father is Hispanic, and so most of his household stayed together, like great grandparents to grandparents we were all together for the longest time. And we only ever left after he needed to because of the area, so he got fired from his job and he worked as a firefighter, and he got fired from his job. And at that point, there was nothing for him to do. Like, they wouldn't take him for anything, even though he had been working there for like 5 years. And so he worked for Cal Fire. And they fired him, and then they, that big, like, crash that happened in California with the housing market? There was a scam that went down with the Chase Bank. Chase bankrupt, like, kind of seized equity from everyone's house on a certain, like, in a certain area, and then it was illegal for them to do, and they were going into a lawsuit with like the state or with like a plaintiff or something. I was very young. I don't remember exactly what, but basically my dad had to sign papers saying that he wouldn't talk about it at all so that he could get the money back to his house. So we lost the house. We had no house. And he didn't have a job. My mom couldn't work because she was like very ill when she was pregnant with my sister. So she could not, because we later find out that she actually had cancer.
Oh, dang.
So we had to leave because there was just nothing that we could do like in the area that we were at.
And so when was this?
He found this had to be sometime around 2010, 9.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe 12 or 13. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like I said, everything starts to blend together after a certain amount of time. But that's why ever since then we moved around a lot and been like in the same place. Because it's really hard to do anything else. Yeah. I mean, like none of my family has ever been able to go to school. Like they've never been able to go to college afterwards. And we just usually like we're barely coasting by basically. So we do what we can, but so now I would love to be able to like leave just to have my own space in my own area and be able to do that, and like kind of have that normal experience that most people tend to have. But my sister has a lot of medical issues. My mom has a lot of medical issues. My dad's gone for most of the time with his job. And that leaves me like the only person really here for a big portion of the time.
Yeah.
And so it's like I feel very responsible for everything. And then also the area that we're at has like it is basically just a desert of it's where dreams go to die, is where I always say, because there's literally nothing here. Like, it is just such an empty place that the only, like, job, there's just nowhere to work. Like, there's places here that literally hire people for, like, $6 an hour.
Yep.
And that's what you get. And it's impossible. It's impossible. The rent here is, like, $1,800.
That's so crazy. How?
And
it's like how?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, they're allowed, like certain professions are allowed in this state to just pay $6.75 an hour. I don't know how that's legal. It's Georgia, by the way.
I mean, I guess there's like a lot of places where like waitresses or whatever, like if they're tip based, then they could get paid that much. But then you're technically getting paid more in theory. But yeah, like, you're not even talking about that. You're just saying like, a normal wage job.
Yeah, so I worked as a waitress for a little bit. I got paid $2.25 an hour, and I didn't get to keep my tips.
The fuck?
I didn't get to keep my tips. Yeah, they so the scam,
Where?
like not the scam, but it's a sleight of hand where you can like take bills and you tell that thing where it's like, okay, I give you 20, you give me 30, then I'll give you 10 back, and then they like do that to confuse you of how much you're getting.
Yeah.
That's basically what
so they exploited, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they would do, and then their favorite like employees would get more, and then they would not count it as, they would use the tips as ways to give people their change back. So, like, if someone came in with cash, that's how that they would give the tips back, so they didn't have to write it down on their taxes. And I literally heard the manager say that. and joke with another business owner about how they were doing that. And I was
I was
so
gonna say
shocked.
that's like tax fraud or embezzlement or whatever. Or like, I mean, it's
Yeah,
probably more
I mean,
common than we realize.
almost likely, I'm sure that that's what it is, but I was just like, I was sitting here I am, like, I've worked a 10-hour shift that I did not know I was going to work, exhausted. I haven't eaten anything because they didn't let me off for break, even though I'm supposed to have a 30-minute break. They did not give me a 30-minute break. And there's laughing about how I'm not going to get my tips. And I was just like, yeah, I'm quitting. I'm not doing this.
Hell
I'll
yeah!
find
I
something
mean,
else.
fuck them. Fuck
Yeah.
them. That's horrible. I'm sorry. That's like a lot of shit. Um, I think that I don't know. I think things have been tumultuous in my family's like financial situation since around the same time. I mean, that's when the whole economy crash and everything sort of took
Yeah.
place, and it never really stopped happening. Like it took a minute more to affect my family, I guess, just depending on what area you're in. But like, lots of moving around, and we had a safety net. Like we were able to go to my grandparents, like, and live with them, right? So
Yeah.
that's cool. But if you don't have that, then yeah, like you're just surviving together, and then you talked about being responsible, like because you're able-bodied or whatever. And like I feel like now I'm starting to understand, just immediately clicked with me what I said earlier, is that discipline thing. Like you have to have it. I'm sure you had to some extent
Yeah.
because you
I
have a lot of
also,
weight and responsibility.
yeah, I also like honestly, I really feel like it is like a big privilege to me that I can do that to begin
Yeah.
with, because like I've seen people in my family have to struggle to get upstairs, I see their
Yeah.
pain every single day.
Right.
Like it's horrible to watch and only be able to like minimize it. Like after so
Right.
many times of grabbing someone's hand and helping them up the stairs, it's like I just wish that you did not have to deal with that. Like I really wish I
Yeah.
could just fix this
Take it.
for
Yeah.
you. Like it's so horrible to see people have to go through things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's days that are better than others, but
Right.
and there's a lot of anxiety too about like, okay, well, how are we going to pay for healthcare? How are we going to pay for certain things if if a job goes through? Well, how is the healthcare gonna even happen? Because
It's
it
gonna
has to
fuck you
happen.
over. Like a lot of times too. That's what sucks about health insurance and stuff. Is like
Yeah,
the way that they'll scam you too. I feel like, but you have no choice. Sometimes it's the best thing that you can do. Um, yeah, I don't know. Damn it, that was something I was gonna say about. There was something else I was gonna say about that, but I mean, like that's been your experience, I guess, probably for as long as you. Are you the oldest of like a couple siblings, basically, or
yeah. I'm the oldest of two siblings.
two
After
below you,
my
or
after
one and you and a sister?
no, I have my younger brother and my younger sister. My brother's the smallest.
Okay.
The youngest. He's also the smallest, but he's the youngest. And so all of us were born in different states because we kind of, like I said, we traveled a lot of different places at different
Uh-huh.
times.
Interesting.
My younger brother like was never supposed to exist. There is
Right.
almost 13 years apart between me and him.
Yeah.
Because it was
Supposed to
basically
exist.
a
Yeah.
surprise. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
a surprise. So, I mean, after
I've been told
that,
that about my younger brother too, but maybe my parents told that to my older siblings too. Like, hey, don't tell Luke.
I was a
But no,
surprise. I mean,
yeah.
I
A lot of times the
I was a
first is
big
a surprise.
surprise. My mom was only 20 when she found out she was pregnant with me. She had me at 21. Like,
Damn. Yeah.
it was never going to be like a thing that she did where she had kids. That was not something that she was like prepared for.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah, my mom
and
had her first kid, my sister, when she was 19 too. So there's like really
yeah,
young parents.
yeah,
I wasn't
it
that
can
far
be rough
behind. I had my
too.
first kid when I was 25, but I didn't have to give birth to the child, either of them. So that's pretty lucky for me. And also, yeah, I mean, But yeah, it is.
Your dad had 10 brothers and sisters? Oh my god. It's
Damn,
hard for
that's crazy.
2.
Ton of cousins.
I
My mom
couldn't
had me
imagine
when she was 18.
10.
I just had a realization. Well, you're talking about where you're born in different places, and I haven't done tarot all stream, but like I don't know if you'd be interested in that. Have you ever done that? Do you know what it is?
Sorry, what is that?
Tarot deck, like tarot cards.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sure you
I
know what
have.
it is. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the drink, and I was like, what?
What drink?
Taro. The bubble tea. I was like, what?
Because I have a
That got
great
me for a
offer
second.
for
I
you
misheard it.
that you could sell to your
I
friends.
have a great offer.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna turn that down. No, I have always liked like tarot card readings and stuff like that. Yeah, boba. Sorry, I say things off and wrong sometimes because
Yeah.
it's a big insecurity of mine. I did not hear for like a couple of years when I was like little, and so like a lot of the things that I pronounce will sound off.
Damn. Interesting.
Because I had ear infections for like 2-3 years of my life, solid through. So everything that I heard was a little bit off.
Huh. I don't know if I
So
had
I
it for that long,
talk a
but
lot.
apparently mine were really bad too when I was a kid. So I've heard. I don't know if that's why I got
Maybe
severe
it's just like
migraines
a
growing up.
common thing.
Maybe it was
Yeah.
the 5G. The 5G wasn't here yet, supposedly, but
Yeah.
the 5G's always somewhere.
The 5G. They've been planning the 5G for a long time, you know?
Yeah.
That was just them telling us about it, but
Oh, taro's a super popular flavor, so you weren't wrong. Sounds like
yeah.
October.
I just thought it was weird that you offered the tarot to me, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know where I
Hands
would
it
get
through
that.
screen. Like, also today I'm introducing you to a new technology called transportation that I'm keeping to myself apparently, or using it for arbitrary reasons. Like, here, I'm gonna give you some tea. If I can.
I was ready for it. I wasn't gonna accept.
Just with no, like, not acting like it's weird at all.
Oh.
Yeah, okay,
What are you gonna do? Poison it?
I mean, I don't know.
Embracing
Are we
it?
nemesis? I don't know if you're my nemesis. Like, I know that Jaina is a nemesis, but maybe you could be too.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Like I don't know.
Because
I never felt like the nemesis kind.
No, yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, like, I have a
I don't know.
I'm not Jaina's nemesis. She's my nemesis. So it's kind of like I'm not really the nemesis kind either. I just have them.
You just kind of collect them as you go about your day.
Yeah, sometimes it depends on the day.
You gotta schedule your nemesis encounters.
I'm bad at that. I'm bad at schedule. Do you keep a pretty strict schedule, like, or you kind of like let yourself fluctuate? I know, like, are you diagnosed with ADHD?
I am. Yeah, I actually got diagnosed with ADHD this year. Well, not this. Well, last year, but this year. You know, like.
Yeah.
As far as
Which,
time
I mean,
goes.
I knew that when I first came in your chat. I was like, yeah, because I'm also diagnosed with ADHD. I didn't know it, but I was like, I didn't even really think about it that way. I was just like, this is my vibe. Because you were like showing your stuff, right? And like it was just random shit, and I was like, this is sick. Like, I don't remember what you were showing, but it was like a fire truck or something, or like whatever
it's this
it was.
Giant fire truck that's like 6 feet long in the other room that we have for no reason. And it's so loud and noisy, and I love it.
Well, your dad was a firefighter, so now that makes sense.
Yeah,
right.
But like, dad at that point, at the point we got that, my dad was definitely not a firefighter. So I don't know what
he was a firefighter
possessed us to buy it.
Or afterwards.
Yeah.
After or before? Did he get it after or before being a firefighter?
Oh, after for sure.
Yeah, so
it's probably like from Italy, honestly.
Oh yeah, so you lived in Italy for a long time. Wait, so like I don't really know, based on the story that you told me today so far, which sounds really hard, like to have to deal with all of that stuff over the years. Like, various things, you know, being affected by, in a lot of ways, how unfair the system is, like not by any doing of your own, and literally being cheated by criminals, like literal criminals who are, you know, taking equity and doing that kind of stuff. How do you end up in Italy? What's that?
Okay, so
We have to kill me if you tell me?
no.
Okay.
It's some people know, other people just like don't ever ask questions, so I never talked about it. But so my father was, we're gonna go deep into the lore.
Yes.
We're going deep into the lore.
It's
so
gotta. Yeah. You have to know.
We will say, you know, with all due respect to my grandparents, they were not happy with the fact that I existed. So, you know, that is like kind of over now. Like, they like me now, but when I existed the first time,
good job.
They were not happy. They were not happy, and they were not very supportive.
Damn.
So both my mother's both my mother's mom, because my mother's mom did not have her husband had died, and then the other one that was like biologically my mom's father left because he was a piece of shit. So piece of shit left. So he's still alive, sadly, ish. Only half joking there. And then the other one that was actually good died of melanoma cancer.
Okay.
So
damn, that's always how it goes.
Right. So I had no grandpa on my mom's side. My dad's actual father was not allowed to see him or my grandma, and my grandma's husband, who's also my grandpa. I'm sorry, this is confusing, but also my grandpa did not like my dad.
Families, man. Fuck.
You know, I'm like
going
deep into the lore.
No,
As you can see,
I can relate, because I feel like there's always some shit like this. Yeah.
So mind you, this is a very like the area that I'm from, California, was pretty like rough as far as like just like having to like just living there. It was pretty rough. Like it wasn't like schwanky or anything like that. It was, I don't know if you ever heard of Modesto. It's like a really small, tiny area. It's grown a lot, but it's just not a nice place. It just sucks, basically. Like there's a reason why no one ever visits there.
There's nothing to do. It's boring. There's no opportunity type shit. Kind of like what you're talking about now, or more like.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also like, very. There's a lot of. They're very poor areas. There's like no like very upscale or nice areas because it's kind of like divided very starkly.
Yep.
And for such a little town, it shouldn't be. Like small towns for the most part don't tend to have like really big mansion like areas and then like shit, you know, like areas where they make people live, but this place kind of does. If that makes any sense, like and you have that, and then it's just the only really nice place is like when I was there, I was at the library and I was almost kidnapped twice at the library with my mom there in open hours, and all of our cars have been broken into at that point, at such a point that my dad literally just left the car unlocked. With the windows down, so we wouldn't have to replace anything. You know, like it was just a rough time.
Yeah,
it's just a rough area, you know. And that's not to say that like I would say that I was safe. They always made sure that I was safe, but it wasn't easy for them to do that. It was very hard.
Got kidnapped, so.
Yeah, I mean, but also like that could have happened at most libraries. Like anyone could have tried to kidnap me, but also like it could happen anywhere, not just
in places where it's like
area,
nice,
but
there's no crime here. It's like, okay, but maybe this is where the serial killer lives.
You would think that the library at 12 p.m. would be a safe place for your kid to be. You know, like it shouldn't be that like you have to worry about your kid getting hurt, something like that.
Yeah.
But so all that's going on and building up. So they're on their own by themselves. My dad gets his fire science degree at college, goes to work for Cal Fire, but Cal Fire does not pay him enough because Cal Fire staggers their payment for seasons. So if you get a contract for a certain season, you might not get a contract for the next one. So like let's say, hey, the state will say you can work in the fall, but that doesn't mean that you'll work in the winter. And
So
they'll tell
is
you
this a
whether or not
government like subsidized
Yeah.
company, or it's still a private company though? It sounds like.
No, it's
Privately
Cal
owned?
Fire.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
it's like
sure,
the
it's
state firefighting whatever
Yeah.
department.
Yeah, and they would basically just tell my dad, we'll tell you what seasons you'll be able to work at. So a lot of the time he wasn't
The
home.
fuck
though.
are you doing, California? Fire state?
Yeah,
Like, let's fuck over the
it's
firefighters.
ridiculous.
Why?
No, the shittiest thing about that too is that they laid off so many firefighters and made the people in the state prisons work
Yeah.
for nothing.
Yeah.
It is such shit. And then Cal Fire won't hire those prisoners when they get out of prison.
Because why? Yeah, because they have a record, right?
Yeah, even though they've been working for years as a firefighter for that very place. So there will be a prisoner who has worked there for a
Pissing me off,
decade.
dude.
And
Yeah.
and as a firefighter, and they have not received a single dime saving people's lives. But then they'll get out and Cal Fire will say you're not allowed to work here. It's really shitty.
Even
Like
though you've acquired
it's
skills and you literally have valuable experience that could actually like help us fight fires, the bad thing called a fire. No, because of
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're risking their life. Fire sucks.
Yep.
Fire is horrible.
A cousin who does that shit, like, and yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy. Like the stories that he's seen people die in front of him and shit. Like, and just like, and they have to go through that shit, and then they don't even get anything for it because our system's so punitive that like there's no.
Yeah.
It's literally punitive forever for a lot of people. Like, there's no recourse. You go to jail, and then you get out, and you're still fucked because you have that on your record. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, is this about reforming me, or is this about punishing me? At a certain point, it's like, what are you actually trying to accomplish here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
but
it's about
okay,
money,
so
I feel like. Anyways.
Basically, this happens. So he has to take a second job, and he takes a job as a paramedic. So he works for a hospital, and he is like in the ambulance, and takes people to the hospital. So that's like the two things that he does, right? So when he's not working at the fire department, which he has to drive like 2 hours away to be at, he has to work at the hospital. So, and he's working like all night basically.
Yep.
And I'm never seeing him. I barely ever see him for most of my like younger years because he's working for most of it. And mind you, my mom is sick for most of it, and they're like 22.
I'm sorry.
Right. So they do that for a couple of years and try, and then the housing thing that I tell you about happens and crashes. So the only like option that we had at that point, because my mom had just finished her cancer treatments, and she was like declared that she didn't have any cancer, right? But they wanted like to do extra stuff, and my dad gets fired from Cal Fire, and we have no insurance. So he drove down to the recruiting office and signed right then and there to be a medic in the military. Because he had all the qualifications already there.
Yep.
And that's how we managed to get to Italy, because he signed on to be a medic that drops in. So they'll take like helicopters or planes, and he drops down and he med boards people out, or he takes people away from like when they're injured. Or he sets up hospitals, like during COVID, you heard about the hospital that they set up in Washington. My dad was down there setting up that hospital. The little temporary hospital that was up there that they set up. He set it up in a week with the people that they sent over there. So that was his whole thing, is that that's what he does. And any army, devil. So he's in the army. He was too old at the point to go into other branches besides the Air Force, and he didn't want to because his great-grandfather didn't want him to, basically, from like the grave, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like he had internalized that he couldn't join that branch, so he
had
was
already
like
decided. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was really him that didn't want to go, and he I don't know, he didn't want to accept it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, that doesn't make sense, but people do that kind of shit all the time.
Basically, my goal is Air Force paramedic at some point. Paramedics are crazy. The things that they'll do. I mean, my dad broke his back. His back's broken. His pelvis was shattered in 3 different places. He dropped 10,000 feet in the air and shattered his back. Like,
what the fuck?
And he doesn't actually get any, like, after what happened, he hasn't gotten it. Yeah, he doesn't get any. So what happens is they say that they'll cover it, but if you say that you have that injury and then it, like, severely affects you, they'll do something called med board you. And once they do that, you're in the process of having to be honorably discharged, and your insurance to all your dependents goes off. The only person who gets to keep insurance is you. So my dad just decided that he would figure out how to walk.
That's insane, dude.
Basically. Like, he literally got himself up with someone else's help and walked himself to the truck because they forgot about him. It took him 3 hours to find him.
What the fuck?
When he first fell. And on that same jump, 2 people had already died because of malfunctions in their equipment. So
probably underfunded equipment from cutting corners and cutting budgets.
Yeah, and they weren't supposed to drop that day because there was a storm coming in. But they rushed it to go through with it so that they could have it, because they had, taken all the equipment out. So they were like, well, we got to do it.
And that's about money too. Like, I've heard the discussions around here, like, because, we deal with significant wildfire issues here as well. And like, or if that's what we're talking about, right? Is that time period? Or is this later? Was this when he was a firefighter that happened?
No, this was later when we were in Italy. So 2016, 17.
Okay. So wait, how long? How long were you in Italy for?
4 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I bet, man. So coming back to America, when you were in Italy, were you like living on a base and stuff? Like, did you experience Italy? Like, how was that?
So Italy was, so we didn't live on the base. We lived, there is areas in, so what they do is, so there's a bunch of laws that they have for example, like, you're not allowed to work there, nothing. I had to get immigration paperwork and stuff, and with that, I said I won't work here because unless it's on the base, which there was barely any jobs on the base for people to work, so I did not work. But basically, you have to fill out all this paperwork and all this stuff saying, yeah, I agree that if I commit a crime here, that it's okay for them to hold me and keep me and not turn me over to the U.S. You have to put all these things in saying that yep, this is fine. So you do that, you get your little pass thing, and you have to carry that with you most places that you go, just in case, because if you don't have it on you, then they could technically take you in for questioning.
Yeah.
Which isn't fun. which never happened. I never had to do that, but still, it was a kind of a
You don't
scary
want to do
prospect.
that.
The idea that they could separate me from my mom and like question me was like really uncomfortable for me. But they never did. But they could have done it if they like so chose to.
Yeah.
But basically, you fill out all that paperwork and stuff saying that it's like okay for you to go. You get approved to go. You can't tell anyone when you're leaving because there's usually a bunch of other people also doing it at the same time. So you have to like you board the plane and stuff, and then like after you get there, you can tell people where exactly you've gone or when you left or when you'll arrive, stuff like that. But you have to wait. So you get there, you have all your paperwork ready and stuff. Usually they fly you into a bigger base, so they'll fly you into Germany or something like that. The international airport there.
Yeah.
Yes.
You ride a train?
No, they have a bunch of tour buses that they'll take you in.
Oh.
But we got into Germany and we actually took a second flight into somewhere in Italy. I forgot where. We were probably about 3 or 4 hours away from where we were supposed to be. And one of the people that were in my dad's command drove up to bring us back to that base, and that's how we entered that base. So we get into the base, and then usually they have a house for you, like, and they'll tell you what house you want. So we had put on a thing saying that we wanted a house off the base because the houses on base are usually nasty, to be honest. They're usually not that very good. And they're usually really small, and they usually have mold in them that they'll like lie to you and tell you that it's not mold.
Yeah, and what do you do? Because the chain of command, basically.
Yes, well, also too, if you try to go to the hospital and the hospital will not say that the reason why you're sick is because of the mold. So if you go to the military hospital, they won't say because of the chain of command. They'll just lie.
Yeah, well,
for the most
that's what I'm
part.
saying is the chain of command supersedes, like, because you complain about it and they'll just say no, and then what do you do?
Yeah. So like that happens. It's all that's all going down, and then they basically interview you about whether or not they think that you're a good candidate or like a good family to be off the base, because the relations between the Italians and the like Americans on the base are very like aggressive. Like there was probably 3 riots when I was there in those 4 years that I saw. Yeah, people like I got tear gas thrown at me. like over the gate, and I was like crying from it and stuff.
You got tear gas? You got tear gassed?
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
It's crazy. I don't know how they even got a hold of it.
So many crazy stories. It's like insane. I've talked to a bunch of people, and you're like,
I'm like, yeah, so like tear gas is involved, but I mean, like I just remember.
Just mentions in passing. Yeah, the time I got tear gassed by Italians who were mad at the American military. Is that right?
Yeah, which I understand. I understand why they were angry.
Right.
Because
but
I get why they were angry, but
you didn't deserve to get tear. Like you were a whatever innocent bystander. Like
I didn't know what the heck was going on. I was just trying to leave. I was just trying to get it gone. But then so that happened. Was the whole thing. And then so that's the reason why you had to like go through an interview process to make sure that you weren't like gonna do something really stupid or be like really crazy, because they wanted the people who were gonna be interacting with the Italians on like a daily basis to be like not
pissing them
problematic.
Off more. Yeah.
So we were lucky to get a house like off base. That was really nice. Like I said, Italy was great. I've gone onto the trains, boats. I've gone to different flights and stuff by myself. The flights are so cheap that once you get into Europe, as long as you're willing to go on iffy planes, you can get to different countries for like 30-40 euro, like barely anything.
Iffy. Like it just feels
like they're okay, so a lot of turbulence. I got from my flight from I forgot what airport we left, but we left this airport in Italy to go to the Czech, and the flight there was the bumpiest, wildest, most turbulent ride. I thought the plane was gonna shake apart. The plane was just shaking like this the entire time.
Fuck.
I've never felt a plane do that before, and I was so nervous, but I was like, it's just, that's what 35 euro will get you. Shaky plane. And the plane could probably only hold at most like 50 people. It was a small plane, and it was scary.
Oh my god, I need
But
to
it was-
send you this. Need to send you this fucking Ferret King clip. Maybe you've seen it already, but yeah, like
Yeah, send it to me. But
it's in the. I don't know if you watch Sarah's like top clips of streamers because you're in it, but like, yeah, Ferret King has a funny thing about like how if you want to get where you're going on the plane, like that's gonna cost an extra $20 and shit. It's funny. I'll
it's
send
gonna
it to
cost
you.
an extra $20.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like I don't even want to try to mimic it because it's just the delivery is really hilarious. But I'll send.
That's
it to
what made it was the delivery.
you. Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was the only really iffy plane. I remember being like really terrified. I thought that plane was going to go down. It was shaking so
I
much
mean,
and so
fucking A.
rickety.
That's what I'm saying.
And it would
like,
creak.
Yeah,
It
no,
would
that's what I
creak.
mean.
The
That's why I asked
plane-
rickety because that's what I would imagine a sketchy plane. Like that's how I'd imagine it would be described. If I could imagine a sketchy plane, it would probably be something that was rickety, like a rickety roller coaster, where you're like, the fuck
Yeah.
is this still going? I don't know. Like, aren't we just playing
Yeah.
a game here to see who gets catastrophically, fucking tragically killed or maimed by this roller coaster? No.
My God.
Okay. Those
I,
boards don't look very nice, but okay.
You know the zipper?
Yes,
The zipper ride?
I know. Yes,
My
I know what
mom
you're talking
fell
about.
out of that when she was a kid. The ride broke and
What?
dropped her. Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
dude, that's freaking me the fuck out
At
because
the
like
fair.
I remember
It
riding
broke.
that ride. Dude, I remember riding that ride the first time with my sister and I was so fucking scared. And I remember thinking
Fucking
like
A.
what if this shit just broke off like at the top of its arc and like launched me like super far? And that could have happened. It was a valid
Yeah,
fear.
it could have. It could have happened. It's a valid fear because
Fuck,
the
dude.
cage part broke. Her belt also broke, and she held on by her arm, or she would have
Damn.
fallen and died.
So like sue?
No,
You can't sue the
No
carnival.
sue.
They have a cheap
You
ass
couldn't-
shit anyways. They don't have any money. Sue them
Yeah.
for their other broken rides. Fuck, that's probably how the last carnival owner got those rides.
she just won't. She won't go on any Ferris wheels or.
I
she
would
won't
not
go on the
even
zipper.
approach
She
a
won't-
fair. I would stay
she
within
won't
100
go on it
yards.
anymore. It's kind of funny, but then I know it's kind of funny, but then I remember that the reason why it's because she almost died. I'm like, yeah,
Well, yeah. I mean, fuck. That's so
valid.
crazy. It's also like, I don't know. Y'all are badasses in your family, or at least like capable of putting up with some real shit. Because I guess you have to. You've been through a lot of it. I'm sure there's even more we could talk about. Like, you know, when I talk about my stuff, but like I haven't experienced a lot of the things that you have or anything close to them. I've never been tear gassed. Even I haven't been even near it. There's probably some people who have in chat, but like, okay, so I have to go talk to Paganox. We should do this again. We could do it
We
again sooner. We
should.
don't have to wait 2 years.
Yeah, I don't think we should wait 2 years this time either.
But I mean, you know, the theme of like, oh, we're a recurring thing that has come up with a lot of people is collaboration. So I'm sure there are ways we could collaborate. Have you done any like D&D writing stuff lately, or like are you still doing that kind of?
I haven't really done any D&D stuff lately
Okay.
because
I was
the
just
people who
curious.
I was gonna do D&D stuff with, they are all like doing adult stuff, like getting their medical license, which
Oh, I thought you meant like in
Super-
D&D, they're like doing weird, like
no,
what kind
no,
of-
I meant like they're like adulting, and it's like if you could just
Sorry,
not
it's-
do that.
It's just a long stream.
Um,
So my brain is not. It's only going to go one direction on certain things. I see. Yeah, so that's always how it is with D&D. It's like trying to have a band. You just gotta be a
I
one-man
know.
band. Fuck yeah, I'll play D&D with myself. But no, I mean, do you have any specific plans for this year? Goals that you've set or anything like that?
I do. I have a lot of different goals depending on which things like pan out and which things don't.
Yeah.
That's very vague. I know that sounds very vague, but um, I right now I'm working on just getting myself to be able to like hit my fitness goals, and I want to finish my writings that I did last year. I want to have it ready to at least like I want it publishable. I don't know if I want to publish it this year or not, depending on like things that happen in the future, but I want it sitting and ready for that to happen.
Are you writing a novel or are you writing like what are you? Or
Yeah,
is it super
it's a
secret?
short story collection.
Okay.
It's a short story collection, and it's about like taking myths and things like that are around Route 66 because I drove through Route 66 to get here.
Okay.
And so each of the stops that the characters make are places that like I've been or
Around the
places that
route.
are like inspired by that area,
Uh-huh.
and then I mix in like fantastical elements in those stories to make like a bigger, wider story that happens later. And it's written. It's just it needs like severe edits to it because
Hmm.
I wrote it in a fever dream, 1 nano, in a
I mean,
hotel
you wrote it though.
after
You wrote
having
it.
no house for like 4 months. So I was
Damn.
like, yeah.
I don't know. It sounds promising to me, honestly. But yeah, like you know, sometimes really good shit comes out of situations like that. I don't know. Well, you know, good luck with that. I would have a goal to have fitness goals personally. Like, I could set my goal, have a fitness goal, but get
Yeah, and
exercise on a
I want
regular
to finish
basis.
I want to finish getting my certificate for to be a personal trainer. Last
Yeah, I think
year,
you talked
a
about that
bunch of stuff
before.
happened with like the people who I was trying to get my license like through, and
Hmm.
they like gave me a bunch of issues, and I finally sorted those issues out, but I just haven't like taken the test because I just have been doing
Oh,
like other shit.
yeah,
So
I know
I
how
need
that
to
goes.
take the test and get that done and get that through so I can be like, well, that's over now, you know?
Yeah, and that's like another thing you can do. I'm guessing. Like, it seems like obviously your passion is writing, right?
Yeah,
Or is it
yeah, for
something that
sure.
we
I
don't
mean,
know about yet? Your third
wait, what?
life.
My third thing, my third
Your
life
moonlighting.
thing, no one, yeah, it's just me so far because I haven't,
Uh-huh.
it's not, I try not to like say something's gonna happen and then like have people think that it's gonna happen and then it not
Right.
happen
Yeah,
because
no,
to
no, no.
me that
That's
feels like
good.
a disappointment.
No, that's a good, I honestly think that that's a good practice in general to have in life. I'm trying to not do that as well because I tend to be like, I have all the ideas. And then none of them ever happen. I'm like, everyone thinks I'm a failure, even though they probably don't remember anything that I said because I said like 20 things.
Yeah, but you're like, I remember that I said that, and I don't want to sit here
Like
and be
they're
like,
sitting
guys,
there
something
like,
just
Levelhead didn't do
absolutely life
this.
changing,
Yeah.
just crazy is about to happen, you know, and then like 3 months later, like, so did that thing ever happen? And I'm like, nah, I chose
Like,
something else.
yeah, no, redirect conversation, please. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, that did not happen.
yeah. um, in some ways too, it's almost like it can, I don't know, like it can create pressure that can honestly affect it in a negative way. So yeah, I had a conversation about that with someone recently. Um, I still want to in the future talk to you about like, you know, the way like I don't even want to say about your politics, but like the way that like this has changed your view or you know, informed your view of these things. Like I know that you
Yeah,
hang around with our crew and like see you around. Um, I don't often hear you talk about it, which I kind of understand. Seem like um, I think like why I don't really. Okay, that's not true. I'll pop off without warning. But like you seem to be pretty even about it, but it's like you've experienced a lot of injustice and stuff. So like that's something I want to put a pin in And then the other thing that I want to put a pin in is a tarot reading if you want one.
Yeah, I would love one. I've also always wanted like tarot cards, but my mom, and like it's a superstition because like so I have a great aunt is what I call her. She's not related to me at all, but she was my mom's friend's mother, and it's a
like that.
I have a bunch of people that I know that aren't related, but they're my aunts anyway.
No,
and
I get that.
she always told me like while we would make bread homemade together, like sourdough bread, and she would always tell me that like if she would do tarot readings for me, and then she would tell me that like someone has to gift you them before you can just buy them. So no one's ever gifted them to me, so I've never got one, and I'm just like, well,
wink, wink, people out there.
Maybe one day, but
maybe it'll happen. Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't get mine gifted to me, but I gifted some to somebody else, so that's whatever. There you go. That'll cover me. I guess. I was gonna give some to my sister.
That'll cover you.
Yeah, I went into her house the other day, and she had some already. I was like, now who else am I have to buy it for 2 to cover my 1. No,
to cover my 1.
There's rules.
You're debating you're like bargaining with the universe. You're like, if I get 2 and I give them away, then if I get 1, that cancels it out.
I'm like me at the universe. I'm like, come on. You gotta give me a pass.
Like you're like, listen, it's been long enough. I've given it the old college try, the natural way. I'm gonna do my own thing now.
Yep. All right, super.
Okay,
Supernatural
I'll let you
Writer.
talk to the other people's. Sorry, I was late. I was not expecting to.
It's all good. It was nice for me to get a little break, anyways, because I have my last discussion of the stream right after this. So, but everybody follow Supernatural Writer for co-working, the good focused co-working, and also workout streams, and then you do like gaming and stuff occasionally.
Sometimes if I feel like I can concentrate on games.
And dramatized singing of songs.
Yeah, you gotta. It's all about the passion, you know. Skill matters not in the face of passion.
Indeed.
That's at least what I tell my chat.
Fucking A. That's cool, actually. I think that's like true. Because you can develop skill, or you don't even have to. You can just do what you want, and have fun.
Yeah, I think there was this word, and I'll let you go afterwards. It was like balter or something was the word, and it meant to dance with great enthusiasm, but with little skill. And I was like, yeah, that's me going through life, basically. When I'm singing it or I dance, I'm like, yeah, this is not good, but I'm definitely doing it with all of the gusto as the actual performers that got on stage to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's a skill in and of itself, I would say. That like not everyone possesses the like ability for enthusiasm, and also because like not giving a fuck-ness is what I would call it. I just made it up, and that's it. It's a scientific term now.
Not giving a fuck.
Yeah, not giving a fuck-edness.
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, like
have that.
I took like one acting class once my entire existence, and one of the first lessons is always if you make a mistake, if you make something that looks like a mistake, if you stumble, if you stutter, never be like, oh, I'm so sorry that I made that mistake, and like feel bad about it, because you just keep going. You just keep going, yes. And if you can, if the audience is laughing, why aren't you laughing too? Because now that's something that you intentionally did to look silly.
Are you here to entertain, or to be? Yeah, what are you trying to do here? Also, never apologize. At a certain point, sociopaths make the best actors. Just kidding. But not sociopaths, not really. I did acting too when I was a kid, so I never put.
Yeah, which is it's just strange too. I've at a certain point, that's a whole nother story though about how like the way that the industry basically, if you don't have the money to invest in acting, they will not invest in you. It's crazy a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's like a whole different story of that. So that'll be another 2 hours. You don't want to go into that. Yeah.
All right. Well, think about what you want to get a tarot reading about. Like if there's something that's on your mind, or you want to try to make a decision, or whatever. Because we could do that.
Yeah, do it. When do you wanna do the reading?
I don't know. We don't have to
Right
go on
now?
stream, or we could. Well, no, I need to talk to Pagan
Yeah, we
Axe.
can. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do it. I don't know, maybe sometime tomorrow if that's okay, because I don't think I can stream tomorrow. I have to go pick up medical records
I don't even
at
know
the
what I'm doing
hospital.
tomorrow, but we'll set something up.
So
DM me.
I'm not gonna be able to stream. I have to go in the morning and like argue with them about whether or not they'll release it to me.
Get them. Fight.
Yeah.
Fight.
I'll be like,
Back.
this is mine. And they'll be like, well, you don't have the proper da-da-da. And I'll be like, what do you mean? These are literally fucking mine. That is my name at the top.
I wish you luck. And yeah, we'll set something up.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I hope
Yeah,
I
thanks
was
for being here. It was
entertaining.
fun. Yep, it was. And we'll do more in the future. Okay.
Okay.
Happy New Year.
Do you want me to leave the Discord or how do you want me
I'm
to?
just gonna hang up. Yeah, I'll just disconnect. You can disconnect.
Yeah. Okay.
One,
Just
two,
hang up
three.
on me. Go ahead. It's fine.
What? I just transitioned to that without warning. Okay, sorry, Pagan Axe. So sorry. Oh, we're not that late. Could be worse. Oh, that's an interesting thing to see in my Discord. Christian erotica for holy masturbation. Nice. I bet that's a fun video. That's a lot. What's up, Robbie? Acer, thanks for the follow, and also HOA Asylum for following during that. Damn, Supernaturalwriter, I gained a lot of respect for them. I mean, I already like respected the discipline thing, but like, it's not just like going through hardship, but like, you know, taking care of people and being like so genuine in the face of it. Like, I don't know. They're fucking cool, okay? How are there so many cool people? Said she is in her Discord when you're ready. Okay. Are they going to make me take a Canadian geography quiz? Grab my watch. I mean, not like I wouldn't do it. Hey, thank you, Ferris. Levelhead. I am Levelhead.